Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good evening so far. We are once again starting with GENSHIN IMPACT. We're going to continue with Navia's second story quest. The game tries to fool us into thinking it's Clorinde's story quest, but come on, bruh. We know who Best Girl is. She's leading her team to victory in whatever this tabletop game they're playing is. Yeah, it is Lisa's birthday. Happy birthday to Lisa.
Ad Astra.
Wait until morning. Okay. 8 o'clock.
Staring at my eyes is ill-advised.
Let's go meet up with the group! Paimon's really looking forward to today's story.
There'll be an extra fee.
Not really looking forward to the story so much as just looking forward to spending time with Navia. Yeah, let's see. Gotta love opening those boxes floating in the middle of the water. Guess I'd never been over this way before, cause that waypoint was still whatever, unlocked. Oh, okay, it's down here. I see how it is. Enter. Oh wow. Okay. It's like we're entering a domain here.
Looks like everyone's here. Now, before we begin, why don't we finish where we left off yesterday? There was an important decision to be made, yes? I'll pour everyone a cup of tea.
Did the traveler just show up late to a meeting with Navia in it? Like, bro, you can't be serious right now.
Is that really the most important part, though, Clorinde? Paimon's more concerned about our current surroundings.
All the
Heavy walls,
spider webs
cold
and shit.
railings, dim lights. This is obviously supposed to be a prison.
Well, I guess we know what's going to happen in the game today.
I admire the work put into the set. Still, it's obvious the scriptwriter has never paid a visit to the fortress of Meripede.
So the set is going to be a part of the script?
Wait, so this was supposed to look like the Fortress of Meripede?
Unfortunately, that is something I can neither confirm nor deny.
Anyone think Clorinde's smile is starting to look kinda scary?
Well, whatever happens, we'll just have to push on. But first, we should really figure out what to do with this treasure. If we're worried about arousing suspicion because of our identity, why don't we give ourselves a different name, just like Clorinde's master did?
Yeah, it might be better to keep a low profile. As long as we're helping people, it doesn't matter who we are or what we're called.
Staring at me won't get you anywhere. Or did you want some more tea?
Paimon's good. Thanks. Why aren't you saying anything, Navia? Wait, what's
Dude,
that next to you?
what are these shots of Paimon's legs?
Oh, this is the short sword Clorinde mentioned last night. I found it.
Huh. I'm surprised you managed to track it down after all this time.
That just looks like a knife.
Well, I made sure to take good care of it, considering the circumstances in which you gave it to me. Of course I had to keep it safe. Anyway, where were we? Oh, right. I was just thinking about all the potential ways for us to break out of prison. We could dig a tunnel, or try to bribe the guards.
Wait, we haven't been thrown into prison yet, have we?
Well, I guess it's always good to plan ahead.
Well, it's only a matter of time. It pays to be prepared. Just like how you should always have an umbrella on hand, even when it's sunny.
Alright, Paimon's made up her mind. Let's just give the treasure away.
Okay, once again,
Paimon may have wanted
Paimon's
to keep it, but if
legs,
it's going
like,
to
bruh.
land us in prison somehow, Paimon will be too upset to enjoy her snacks.
Ow, fuck. Turns out Paimon cares more about snacks than treasure.
So, you've reached an agreement? All right then, we can continue with the story.
Oh, and we'll collect all the scattered pieces of treasure on the ground as well.
All right. You collect the treasure and make your way back to the capital with your bag of loot in hand. The city is still shrouded in a gloomy, oppressive atmosphere, but your spirits are surprisingly high. In places where sunlight struggles to reach, you generously share your wealth with the children, the elderly, and the poor in urgent need of help. Thank you, kind soul. The elderly woman's look of gratitude follows you as you walk away, her eyes never leaving your back until you move entirely out of sight. However, there's still quite a bit of Mora remaining. It appears you haven't made much progress.
She's probably trying to tell us to speed this up. We need to hurry up so we can address the sorcerer problem.
Hold on a second. Let me adjust my webcam here. Oh yes, of course you always gotta fucking reset the shit after. Damn it. Okay.
Should we go find that man again at the square? He seemed like a pretty responsible guy. I'm sure he knows the people here far better than us.
Oh, good idea!
Just as you start to make way to the square, intent on finding the man again, there's a voice. Please wait, distinguished guests. Several strange guards suddenly call out to you. They run forward to meet you and proceed to politely pay their respects.
Greetings, gentlemen. Are we being invited for afternoon tea?
Surely you jest, my lady. That would not be our place. It is His Excellency the King who requests to meet with you. Please, come with us.
The king, huh?
Do you think this could be a trap?
Well, we have to investigate the court at some point, right? Meeting the king himself would be a fantastic opportunity to do that.
I say we go for it. If something happens, we'll just turn the whole place upside down.
That sounds a little intense.
After a quick discussion, you nod to the guards and agree to follow. They lead you all the way to the audience hall of the palace. Gilded tables line both sides of the hall. The space itself is adorned with all manner of expensive antiques, glass shelves, and silver candlesticks. The items appear quite ordinary in size and dimension, yet their presence somehow makes the emptiness of the hall feel even more surreal and ominous.
Wow, it's so luxurious.
The elderly king, clad in a magnificent robe, sits upon the deep crimson throne before you. He wears above his head a majestic crown, with a gemstone the size of a bird's egg set right at the very front. As you observe it, you see a complex pattern of light reflect off its surface. They're here, your majesty. A man dressed in dark clothes, likely a minister, shields his mouth with his hands and bends down to whisper a few words to the king. After a moment, he lowers his hands and stands back up. His gaze shifts to fixate on your group, but he does not move from his place at the king's side.
The king does not appear entirely aware of his surroundings. The man by his side, though. We should keep a close eye on him.
The king remains still and says nothing. The minister is the one who speaks. Esteemed guests, allow me to thank you for coming to our faraway kingdom. Unfortunately, His Majesty the King finds himself quite exhausted from work. So please allow me, his Prime Minister, to welcome you in his stead. I've heard tell that your group, the Marechaussee Hunters, used your exceptional ability with the sword to repel the monsters near the capital. Such a great deed deserves to be rewarded. However, seeing that I was not fortunate enough to observe such a feat with my own eyes, you'll forgive me for seeking to verify the truth by speaking to you myself.
Well, we've got nothing to hide. You brought us here to talk, right? So we'll just explain what happened. The golem's blades were so powerful, they could cut down trees in a single swipe. It took a lot of effort to defeat them, even for trained swordsmen like us. Well, that was enough details, right? Believe us now?
Your account does indeed match those of the survivors. Since you were the ones who defeated the monsters, that must mean you are also in possession of the treasure they stole?
Well, we did take the treasure, but...
How did he know about the treasure?
Then I must ask that you return it at once. It belongs to the kingdom.
Wait, but didn't you just say that our great deed deserved a reward? Shouldn't the treasure be considered a part of that?
Yes, that was indeed what I said. But you seem to have forgotten a very important distinction. Only that which is freely given by the king can be considered a reward. Taking the rightful wealth of a kingdom without said permission, on the other hand, is a crime.
But that's completely unreasonable.
Yeah, that makes no sense! If it weren't for us, the treasure would still be buried underground somewhere!
Maybe so, yet the fact remains. You tried to dispose of the treasure without reporting it to the court and without receiving permission, yes? What, no answer? Surely you're not insinuating that you, a group of legendary Marechaussee hunters, sought to take the treasure for yourselves?
Well, what about the king? Is he just gonna let this guy talk for him the whole time?
Clad in his magnificent robe, The king remains seated, with his hands resting on either side of the throne. His posture is rigid and unmoving. He stares forward with an empty look in his eyes, completely unmoved by the events before him.
From the look of things, could the Prime Minister be the evil sorcerer? Or could both the king and the Prime Minister have fallen under the evil sorcerer's control?
I would like to observe the number of guards stationed in the hall.
The guards in the palace appear fully armed, their expressions solemn. Sensing the tense atmosphere in the room, they stand at the ready, each with a hand placed upon the hilt of their sword, as if prepared to draw their weapons and surround you at a moment's notice.
Well, there goes my plan to turn the whole place upside down, I guess.
It appears we've been visited by nothing more than a group of ill-intentioned imposters. What a pity. Guards, take them away and throw them in the dungeons. Before I decide your fate, however, I must first determine whether you have any accomplices outside the court.
Can't we try to slip away? Or maybe start some kind of riot?
But if we try to fight the guards right now...
Don't worry. At least we figured out who's behind all this. Let's just play it by ear. If you're scared, Paimon, just hold my hand.
You can have my hand too.
Aw, thanks, you guys.
You allow yourself to be led away by guards surrounding you on both sides. It's only when you begin to feel drops of water falling from the dungeon ceiling and smell the stench of death and decay all around you that you finally realize you've stepped into a completely different world. Stay here, and don't try anything funny. The guards lock the cell door and leave without looking back.
Wait, sir!
Your voice echoes through the dark hall, but the only response you receive is the sound of water dripping from the ceiling.
No! What should we do now?
Carve out a new path of fate with our own two hands, of course. I draw my weapon.
You reach toward your waist, but find nothing there. You now recall that your weapons were confiscated before the guards locked you in the cell. The bag of treasure along with them.
What about that knife I hid in my boot?
When did you hide it in there?
When I was thinking about digging a tunnel.
Rejected. You failed to inform the GM of this course of action. Moreover, the guards would have conducted a thorough search before throwing you in prison.
And the keys to the cell aren't anywhere to be seen?
Correct. You don't even feel a lock hole on the cell door.
Oh, well, there goes all our plans.
Indeed.
Huh? Why are you the one saying indeed?
Because that statement holds true for me as well. This is where the script ends.
What? But that's a terrible ending!
Generally speaking, this should be the point where the scriptwriter gives the players some kind of hint, or gives the GM some kind of code for how to move forward.
I mean, maybe they just really wanted us to be immersed in the feeling of being in prison? Like, they'll only show us the way out once we've grown truly and utterly desperate?
That is a possibility.
If only there were desserts and tea in real prison. Oh, wait, guess that's kind of how the Fortress of Meripede works if you're lucky.
Oh, before I forget, Navia, the short sword you had with you earlier. I took a closer look, and the craftsmanship doesn't appear to resemble anything from this era. If I remember correctly, that style was last in vogue several hundred years ago.
Wait, Clorinde said that sword used to belong to her master, right? Does that mean her master has been alive that long?
I doubt it. The way she went about things often made her seem childish more than anything. I'd say the sword was most likely an heirloom passed down over time.
Hang on. A precious heirloom passed down to you by your master. And you gave it to me just like that? You weren't worried I might lose it?
Master left many things to me when she disappeared. There was the sword, an old key, and a good amount of junk she probably just didn't want to take with her. I gave you the sword back then because I didn't want our friendship to end.
Wait, when did this happen exactly?
After the duel between Mr. Callis and myself.
Before that, Clorinde would have meals with us and even stay over at the Spina some days. She was on great terms with Papa as well. After the duel, though, there was a period of time where we simply didn't know how to face each other. She entrusted this sword to me, and never came back. We were both sad, and conflicted, and totally overthinking everything as a result. Whenever I looked at this sword, I couldn't help but wonder if Miss Petronia had never introduced us to each other at that picnic. Maybe part of the sadness I was feeling could have been avoided. Back then, it felt like I hadn't just lost a father, but a close friend as well.
No one can change the past. The most important thing is that you two found your way back to each other and can enjoy things like this together.
Yep, you're right.
I'm sorry, you two. I didn't mean to bring up any sad memories.
Think nothing of it. No one here is at fault.
Huh?
Is that a note from the script writer?
Looks like the next part of our script is here.
Perfect timing. The situation was really starting to get desperate. And not just because of the prison thing.
From Clorinde's face, Paimon really can't tell if it's good news or bad news.
It speaks to her professionalism as a senior GM.
Water continues to drip from the ceiling. In this lightless dungeon, you lack a reliable way to tell how much time has passed.
Bro, this is so weird. Like, being able to continue the game hinges on them continuously delivering the next part of the script. So he's writing, it's like he's writing the script as they go through the story.
Eventually, you get used to the unpleasant odor of straw, mold, and rust, and find yourselves alternating between fits of drowsiness and despair. Suddenly, you hear footsteps outside the door.
Heads up, everyone. Someone's coming.
Gather close, everyone, and keep your voice down.
Who are you?
I work as a guard in these dungeons, but my true identity is the same as your own. I'm also a marechaussee hunter.
Huh?
Shh. I've already sent away the other guards, but if we make too much noise...
I understand, but how can we be sure we can trust you?
The king has issued a formal decree. In light of the irrefutable proof of your crime, you're to be executed before tomorrow's sunrise. If you want to escape, it has to be now.
Bro, isn't that a little extreme? Like, come the fuck on, bro.
Executed? We barely did anything!
Monsters appearing at the same location as the treasure. Could this entire thing have been a trap?
There will be time for speculation once we're out of here. As for my identity, I have no way to prove that to you just yet. Infiltrating the capital was difficult, and finding a chance to speak with you has taken a lot out of me. I could go on, but I think we can all agree that now is not the time for details.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any other choice.
Have you seen our weapons anywhere, sir?
Don't worry, I brought them with me. They're just behind the door. Still, these weapons alone won't be enough to defeat the true enemy behind the scenes. His faction is too powerful. The guards are all under his control, and he's even stationed a number of golems in various rooms throughout the palace. To defeat him, you must find a secret vault. It is said that within that vault, the Marachose hunters of the past left behind a treasure with the power to defeat the sorcerer.
You're not coming with us?
No, I'll remain in the dungeons to deal with the guards. I'll try my best to distract them so they don't go after you. As long as my identity is not revealed, I'll be able to aid you when the final battle comes.
In that case, please stay safe.
Thank you for your concern. I will do my utmost. As for the location of the vault, here, this map should lead you there.
Got it.
All right, once I open the door, remember to stick close and refrain from making any noise. I'll lead you out of here as quickly as possible. You now have the chance to restore the honor and legacy of the Marachose hunters. So please, get out there and reclaim what's ours. And be sure to exercise caution.
With the help of the guard, you successfully escape the dungeons. Your sense of despair and anxiety both seem to fade as you continue your quest.
Wait, we didn't get to use our skills at all while we were in prison. Who knows when we're gonna get the chance to use that cool summon spell?
That is a pity, but we can only continue to move forward.
This should be the place marked on the map.
This bit of rock certainly looks suspicious.
Well, I'd say an investigation's in order then. Plus, if all else fails, we can just blow it up.
Well, well, well.
You really meant that.
Before you,
Of course
lies a
she did.
serene
She's
stretch
Navia.
of open water, its surface shimmering a brilliant shade of sapphire blue.
Well, guess this means it's time for a swim.
Oh, hell no. There is no way you'd get me to swim down in there. The hell? Oh, okay.
Oh, what's the matter?
It's nothing. As you step into the cave, you find yourself in an eerily quiet space. Before you lies a narrow passageway that appears to trail off endlessly into the distance.
Wow, this must be where the treasure is hidden.
But this door is blocking our way in. It almost looks like it's been here for quite some time. I've got to hand it to the tabletop troupe. They really went all out with the props.
Huh. What have we got down here? A kind of mechanism connected to the door? Ah, it looks like we might have to arrange it into a certain pattern.
A pattern on a stone door. That's something Master mentioned before.
Is something wrong, Clorinde?
After a long, difficult journey, you finally arrive at the location indicated by your map. It appears to be an ancient site of some sort, where treasure likely awaits. Your surroundings are exceedingly quiet and serene, as if the secret that slumbers here has never once been disturbed. If you listen closely, you can almost convince yourself you can hear the sound of its calm, gentle breathing.
That description makes Paimon feel kinda bad for disturbing this place.
We're doing this for the sake of the people, to free them from the evil sorcerer. I say it's time for this treasure to once again see the light of day.
Linny's right. We need to keep going. The future of the kingdom depends on it. The next part of the story requires us to solve the puzzle, right? Let's start exploring the area.
Yes, that should be fine. Something feels off about all this. Guess I'll just have to improvise.
Okay. Oh.
I found something.
Found something here, too.
Same here.
Alright.
It worked!
Something just appeared. Some kind of new mechanism, maybe?
By solving the puzzles, you prove yourselves worthy of inheriting the secrets of the past. At the end of each puzzle, you're rewarded with
With?
a key.
Oh, it must be the key to the big door.
Huh? This is one of the Marechaussee Hunter keys that are passed down from generation to generation. It looks just like the one Master passed down to me. It is said that 4 keys in total are required to form the final, complete key. And it seems like we just collected 3 of them. That must mean...
Huh? What's wrong?
You hear a few strange noises. Suddenly, all the torches in the ruin go out at once.
Huh? What's going on? Did we fall into another trap?
For the sake of immersion, please close your eyes, everyone. Without the torches, the space is now completely dark, and you cannot see anything.
But Paimon can still see a little bit over here.
Don't break other people's immersion.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Suddenly, you hear the sound of footsteps pierce through the darkness.
There's someone else here? Oh, this is so unsettling. I can't see anything.
I've been discovered then.
Wait, that voice, it's...
You recognize the voice as belonging to the guard who led you to this place. It appears he now covets the treasure for himself, and has come to stake his claim.
Oh, so this is just part of the script. Then I can probably relax. Well, if we can't see anything, that means we can't fight to the fullest of our abilities. Should we retreat for now?
Judging by the way he's holding his sword, he must be a real marechaussee hunter. But this isn't part of the script.
Retreat? That's not the hunter way. If it's dark for us, then it's dark for him. We choose to fight.
Your choice is noted. Please keep your eyes closed until I tell you the torches have been relit. This battle will be in the dark.
You got it!
Well then, let us begin.
That's right, Navia is not afraid.
Time to testify.
I'd like to try to hit him with my sword.
Your strike is successful.
Ha! You're facing a veteran marechaussee hunter. You don't stand a chance.
Is he still standing? Goodness, he sure has a lot of HP.
Is it over? Can we open our eyes now?
The enemy is strong and relentless, but the battle is nearing its end. The torches have not been relit.
What about now?
Final strike. Ha!
Dude, those movements she just did just now are
did we get it?
completely unnatural. Why isn't she answering?
Clorinde?
Warm fire flickers across the walls once more. Your vision is now clear. In an impressive display of courage, the four of you successfully defeat the uninvited guest. That look in his eyes. It's like he became an entirely different person as soon as I defeated him.
Huh? Mr. Florian? Oh, wait. We're supposed to be role-playing. I should stay in character. Speak your name, guard. Why did you lead us here just to betray us? Is this treasure really more important to you than bringing peace to the kingdom?
What kingdom? What peace? Those were nothing but lies! I, Florian, am a true marechaussee hunter, descended from hunters of ages past.
So he's also using his real name. Or, wait, was that the name of his character from the very beginning?
Then I'm even more confused. If you truly are a marechaussee hunter, shouldn't you want to help us just like you said before? Shouldn't we fight together for the sake of the people?
What do you know? In this day and age, there's no glory to be had as a marechaussee hunter.
What's that supposed to mean?
My skills were passed down to me by my father. We lived a life of obscurity in the remote wilderness. Still, he devoted everything he had to being a marechaussee hunter. And what did he get in return? A life of poverty and pain. And a world that forgot all about him. When he died, not a single person came to mourn his passing. The marechaussee hunters were the ones who saved this city. We're heroes. We deserved more recognition and respect than this.
Is he talking about how no one in the capital seems to remember the hunters and their legacy? I didn't expect the script to contain this level of social criticism.
So that's why you want to take the treasure for yourself? You feel like you're owed fame and wealth?
If you already knew where the treasure was located, why didn't you just come down here and take it?
Because I still needed the final key.
Only a true Marashose hunter is capable of passing through this final door. As someone who sought to hurt others for his own gain, Florian lost that right long ago.
Okay, but what is this treasure anyway? We've got all the keys, right? So can we just go in and take a look?
You're sure you want to go in?
We've been talking about it for so long, of course we want to see what's inside!
And we've already defeated Florian, right? So he won't try to take it from us anymore.
Pesky brats.
Watch yourself.
Then let's open the door together.
All right. Your choice of action is
Dude,
confirmed.
this is so weird. It's like some of the people are like completely acting serious while some of the others think this is just role-playing. Clorinde takes out the keys from earlier and walks up to the heavy door. Without anyone noticing, she takes out her own key and joins it with the others to form the final required shape.
Before you, the door to the treasure, sealed and undisturbed for more than 100 years, finally swings open. You hear the shrill wail of the door hinge as it rotates for the first time after years of disuse, almost like a sleeping giant letting out an extended yawn. You get the impression that the secrets buried behind this door might be just as heavy as the sound you just heard.
It's open! Come on, let's go in! Paimon wants to see what's inside!
Ooh, me too!
Bro, what the hell?
Uncovering hidden treasure is the most exciting part of adventuring. What do we have here? Uh-huh.
A stone tablet? And some shabby weapons?
You call this a treasure vault? Looks more like an abandoned warehouse!
Maybe the troop ran out of budget at the end?
They provided a super immersive experience at the beginning only to drop the ball at the most important part? They could have at least filled this place with cardboard Mora or something!
Wait, I get it now. Paimon, this is the real Marashose hunter treasure.
This is it? The Marashose Hunter treasure is just a stone slab and some broken swords? I can't believe it. I refuse to believe it!
Whoa, are you okay?
The Marashose hunter before you appears to suffer a serious mental breakdown. He needs to leave the room for a moment to collect himself. One of you seems to understand the significance of the treasure already. If the rest of you wish to follow suit, you may remain here in the meantime and explore your surroundings. So, how are you doing? Feeling any better?
What just happened?
Do you remember how you got here? Or what happened to your body just now?
I remember now. I brought you here because I wanted to... The explosives in the cave!
You mean these?
Huh? How did you...
I could tell something was off the moment I stepped into this cave, so I kept an eye out. I've already dismantled the whole thing.
So the strongest champion duelist in all of Fontaine saved the day once again. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. It would seem your skills as a Marashose hunter are as sharp as ever.
I deserve some answers, don't you think? Tell me why you wanted to lure me here. Everything you said earlier sounded like the truth. Luckily, your monologue was dramatic enough to convince my friends you were just role-playing.
I don't know. I just always felt like there was something in my heart that didn't belong to me. Something agitated and angry. Who knows? Maybe it was my own anger all along. I could never really tell. The feelings about my father and the other Marechaussee hunters are real. It just wasn't fair. I was angry, bitter that no one remembered them or praised their accomplishments. I don't know when it started, but at some point, my anger came to completely consume me. At that point, I remembered the legend my father used to tell me. The one about the treasure.
But if the treasure was all you cared about, why plant all those explosives? Wouldn't they just destroy the treasure and bury you along with it?
I can't remember. My head is a mess. It felt like there was this voice telling me to eliminate the hunters, but now it's gone.
From your description, I suspect you were dealing with a Devorator.
Devorator?
Oh, your master... your father, I mean. Never talked about it? It was a kind of monster that was active several centuries ago.
No, I've heard of it. I'm just not sure why you suddenly... Wait, it can't be. The seal!
The seal?
My family has served as Marechaussee hunters for many generations. But the title and swordsmanship weren't the only things passed down over our line. There was a seal as well. My father instructed me to always watch over that seal and maintain it regularly. He said it had been passed down over a truly ancient age, and protecting it was our clan's most important duty. But I neglected that duty after he died. I finally decided to come down and check on it one day, and that's where my memories become fuzzy.
The Devorator would be a formidable adversary for any mortal being, even ones as capable as the Hunters. If you lacked the power to completely destroy it, you could easily fall prey to its influence and corruption. In light of this, some Marechaussee hunters chose to seal the Devorator away, in the hopes that a permanent solution would come with the passage of time.
I heard it has the power to amplify the obsessions and desires in people's hearts, to the point where they overtake you entirely. It would seem I'm not just lacking in skill with a blade, but in mental fortitude as well.
And yet, you were able to retrieve 3 of the 4 keys. If I remember correctly, each was entrusted to a respected and capable hunter. How did you manage it?
One of them belonged to my father. The second I stole from a different hunter. And the third... was one that I snatched while the person was on the way home from the tavern. I nearly died in that alley. I know just how strong you are. It's as clear as day to everyone in Fontaine. I observed you from dusk to dawn, but could never find any opportunity to sneak up on you. I never even saw you drink a single glass of liquor. The only way I could think to obtain that last key was to lure you here using your hobby, and then... Oh, I get it now. That monster, it wanted to bury you here alongside the treasure.
I won't comment on anything else, but the script was good.
Well, I did pour my heart and soul into it. The stories my father used to tell me about the glory of the heroic Marechaussee hunters and how they came to be forgotten.
It's more than just a story.
Huh?
You're proud to be a hunter. You're still holding onto that part of yourself, no matter how small.
I have done so many despicable things. I have nothing to be proud of.
Then explain the purpose of the evil sorcerer in your story.
Huh?
Isn't he the true antagonist? The one who sought nothing but his own gain, and used the people as pawns to attain it? In your heart of hearts, he was the one you truly wanted to defeat.
But I've already tainted my sword. I no longer have any right to...
Wake up, Florian. Remember how you introduced yourself earlier. Do you really think the hunters acted out of a desire for honor and glory? Or to be loved and acknowledged by the people? What did your father teach you about our order? You do not wield your sword for yourself, but to protect those you serve. There's nothing special about a blade. It's the intentions of the wielder that matter above all else. Do you still not understand? Even after seeing the treasure for yourself? The contents of that room, they represent the true legacy the hunters left behind.
You're right. I am a Marashose hunter. It's time for me to redeem, no, to finally serve the people I vowed to protect all along.
I wouldn't be so quick to push aside the need for redemption.
I know. That's a charge I won't bother to defend myself against.
Good. Then, come with me, and help me see the script through to the end.
Huh? See the script through to the end? But there's no more script left.
Never finished it, huh?
No, I mean, I wrote the script with the sole purpose of luring you all here. There was no reason to write beyond this point.
Then we'll just have to keep writing it. The evil sorcerer still needs to be defeated.
You mean the Devorator? Are you saying I have to make up the rest of the script as we go along?
Is that really so hard? You've already written most of it. Surely you can write an ending where the hunters win and justice prevails. I'll be there to help you too.
You aren't afraid your party will fall into danger?
I know what my friends are capable of, and they're all quite skilled. Besides, I need their help.
Then, are you going to tell them the truth about all this?
I don't intend to spoil the fun. Sometimes, protecting dreams and fantasies is more important than exposing the truth. Don't you think?
Alright, I will be right back. Oh. Alright, we're back. Okay, so we still haven't gotten anywhere with this yet.
They're back!
That took a while.
Ahem! My fellow Marashose hunters, please forgive me, for I have sinned.
Tone it down.
Sorry. After crossing swords with you and witnessing your courage in battle, I've rediscovered my true self and regained my pride as a Marashose hunter.
Oh, do I smell a redemption arc?
I confess, I was brainwashed by the evil sorcerer. He asked me to lure you here so he could bury you in this cave.
That little... Wait, you're saying all of that wasn't you, but the evil sorcerer?
That's right. He's adept at manipulating the hearts and minds of the people. I fell under his influence because I did not possess a strong enough sense of will.
Huh. And how are you going to prove that you're a changed man? We're not going to fall for the same trap twice.
To be perfectly honest, I only came to my senses after seeing the treasure. It reminded me of my father's past teachings. The treasure was actually...
The names of all the Marashose hunters from ages past and their weapons?
Wait, you already know?
Of course. Don't underestimate a veteran role-player's exploration skills. Oh, wait, I mean Marashose hunter Navia's exploration skills.
That's right, you tell him, Navia.
We just finished reading through the content of the stone tablet.
That tablet recorded the lives of some fascinating people. For example, this Marashose hunter called Est. She inherited the responsibilities of the Golden Hunter and passed judgment on many people. But in private, she had a very easygoing personality. Her favorite pastime was singing and dancing with her friends, and she was said to have a beautiful voice.
So, she was just like you.
Oh, you really think so?
Well, when you put it that way, I suppose I also have a few things in common with this Walter. Working as an executioner, he supposedly used a countless number of tricks to confound his enemies in battle. Oh, if only I could have seen the feats of magic he pulled off back then.
Their lives were all so exciting. You could write so many cool books about their accomplishments. How could they have all been forgotten?
Because they chose to be. To hunt monsters that only appear in the shadows, you must also operate in the dark. To be a Marashose hunter is to willingly give up on wealth and fame.
Then this stone tablet must have been left behind by their companions.
That's right. Few Marashose hunters ever revealed their identity to the public. They always protected the city from the shadows. The only time they spoke of their accomplishments would be at night, when they gathered with their fellow hunters in front of the bonfire to share stories of the monsters slain by their hand.
So, this tablet was created not so that the hunters would be remembered by the people, but so that they would be remembered by each other.
No wonder this place was so well hidden.
You regard the stone tablet in solemn silence. The names of your comrades etched onto its surface serve as a reminder that you are never truly alone. The tablet proves that, although a hunter walks a shrouded path, it is not a solitary one. There will always be those who walk beside you, a fact that remains as true today as in ages long past. Their legacies shall continue to be passed down from generation to generation, as everlasting as the stone onto which their names are carved.
Father, you once told me that I should seek out the treasure if I ever became lost. So this is what you wanted me to find.
I've decided to trust you, Florian.
Thank you, my friend. You are very kind. I implore you, everyone, please give me a chance to make up for all I've done. Allow me to fight alongside you and defeat the evil sorcerer that threatens the peace and prosperity of everyone in this kingdom.
Well, I say we let you join.
Sounds good to me too. Everyone makes mistakes. What matters is what you do to make up for them.
I have no objections, but Mr. Florian, do you even know how to defeat the evil sorcerer?
When he took over my mind, I gained some insight into his thoughts. Every time I thought of the treasure, he reacted with a strong sense of fear.
Huh? He's afraid of the treasure? But there's nothing here except some broken weapons and the stone tablet.
What if the secret's hidden inside these weapons? GM, permission to investigate.
At first glance, the weapons appear absolutely ordinary. But as you observe them, you notice a faint energy emanating from within. These blades have slain countless monsters. Though it's been a long time since they were used in battle, their edges remain sharp, as if they're simply waiting for the next worthy hunter to carry on their legacy.
So basically, take these with us, right?
I'll take this weapon, since it used to belong to Est. Maybe it'll find comfort in being held by someone who appreciates the arts.
Ah, good idea. I'll take Mr. Walter's bow then, from one archer magician to another.
Paimon's gonna pick a cool weapon too!
As you grip your weapons, you can almost feel the will of past hunters coursing through your being. It's a feeling of courage, determination, a silent vow passed down from generation to generation that says, eradicate the monsters, no matter the cost.
Mr. Florian, do you know where to find the evil sorcerer?
I was able to see his surroundings when our minds were connected. I believe he's currently hiding out at the church in the kingdom. We must be extremely careful. He's spent so long living among monsters that he's now taken the form of one. He will not be easily defeated.
Then why don't we explore some more and try to find some higher level gear? We don't want to just fight him and lose, right?
No, we have to strike now. He was greatly weakened when I managed to break out of his control. If we let him rest, he might have time to escape.
I agree with Mr. Florian. We've got to act while we have the advantage. Don't forget, the people of the capital are counting on us.
Yeah, now that we've got a plan, there's no point in waiting. The longer this drags on, the worse it will be for everybody.
Yes, that's what's called...
Taking the initiative.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Alright, you've persuaded Paimon.
Mr. Florian, please, lead the way.
Of course. Follow me.
He had to set up so many scenes today, and now he has to join in for this last part. I really don't envy his job.
Finally, you decide to slay the evil sorcerer and bring peace back to the kingdom once and for all. As you walk away, you feel the gaze of the stone tablet at your back, as if all the hunters of the past are wishing you success in the battle ahead and awaiting your triumphant return.
All right.
Ad Astra Abyssal. Thank you for Ad Astra.
Alright, well, that is it for tonight's episode of the new story quest. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to Chaos Child now. Alright, so let's see what happened last time. So I think, let's see, last time they talked about, they went back over some, they reviewed some facts about the case, trying to come up with more theories for who the killer in the new gen killings might be. Let's see. Oh, actually, I'm having trouble remembering what happened yesterday. Oh, did I? Yeah, I think they got like a clearer picture of like when some of these people got first started getting mind controlled. We're talking, of course, about the victims of the killings plus Ito. They're thinking that Ito was mind controlled. I don't know, long time ago. They also think that the fact that Watabe decided to interview the newspaper club, that whole decision was influenced by him being mind controlled. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's basically about everything that happened. Um, I mean, they I guess pointed out a couple things, but they didn't. I don't feel like they really made a whole lot of progress in figuring out who's behind the mind controlling or whatever. Um, the sun set early in late autumn. Just like I'd said over lunch, there was no club meeting that day. I had a short conversation with Sarika and then headed straight for Alba Dorm. Even so, it was already starting to get dark, and it was easy to imagine some hidden attacker lurking in the shadows. But there was more than just fear inside me now. Of course, I was afraid of the murderer. I was afraid of being killed in some horrible way, and of dying in incredible pain. But I could also feel a black rage rearing its ugly head inside me. You're going to pay for what you did to Yui. Whoever the fuck you are, I will find you, and I will tear you into tiny, bloody little shreds. Those feelings grew inside me with each passing moment.
ああ、君、宮代拓君だね。悪いけど、ちょっと話を聞かせてくれないかな。
君が第一発見者なんだよね。最初に見たとき、どんな気持ちだった？
The media was still camped out around Alba Dorm. Actually, because of what had happened with Yui, there were more of them than ever. And now that we were victims, in their minds, that made them our self-appointed heroic defenders, they'd gotten even bolder.
犯人は君の親友だって噂だけど本当なの？すごいショックだよね。どうやって謝罪してほしい？
友達はなんでこんなことをしたと思う？何か悩んでいたとか、心当たりはないかな？
うるさい！お前ら全員ユイと同じにしてやろうか！
Several of the lights the reporters were holding shattered at the same time. Then I suddenly came to my senses, shocked at the strong impulse I'd felt in the eerie light the D-sword was giving off.
今日はまだ11月2日。問題の日は明後日だ。それまでは大丈夫。何も起こらない。何も。
I pushed my way past the media and ran inside the dorm, repeating the words as if they were a magic spell.
ただいま。
I tried to calm myself down and act like nothing had happened. If Yuto heard yelling, it would wake him up.
おかえりなさい。タックルさん。
I could see tiny little Uki from the kitchen. We still weren't used to calling each other by our first names.
晩ご飯 もうすぐできますから。
ありがとう。
None of us, including Dad, really wanted to eat anything, but she made dinner every night anyway. That was her own way of struggling against the sadness, I thought.
父さんとクルスは？
先生は警察です。ゆいさんのことで。
そっか。
ののさんは診察室でゆうとくんの看病を。
うん。なあ、ウキ。
はい。
今日はまだいいけど、あさって11月4日はそうやって一人になっちゃ絶対にダメだ。みんなと一緒にいること。あと、誰に誘われても絶対に外へ出ないこと。いいな。
それはタクルさんでもですか？
ああ、そうだ。誰も信用しちゃダメだ。
I remembered what Arimura had said, and my heart ached a little. Uki mumbled to herself for a moment, seemingly considering my words. Then she nodded.
ちょっとユウトの様子を見てくる。
じゃあ、ののさんにもご飯だって伝えてください。ゆうとくんのお世話は私が交代しますから。
わかった。
I left the dining room and quietly went down the stairs to the clinic. When I opened the door, Yuta was lying on the bed and looking up at the ceiling. He was showing more emotion than he had been right after it happened, and he would answer when you spoke to him now. But he was being given strong psychotropics and spent most of his time asleep or barely alert.
ユウト。
ああ、おかえりなさい。
どうだ、具合は。
うん、よくなったよ。もう平気。
He forced himself to smile, probably because he didn't want to worry me. But the muscles that controlled his face weren't working the way he wanted yet, and it looked more like he was about to cry.
クルスは？
I looked around and didn't see her near the bed.
あっち。今眠ってるから、そっとしておいてあげて。
I found her at the desk where Dad kept his work computer. She was face down on the desk, with her long hair covering the top half of her body. Her breathing was gentle and rhythmic. The computer was still on. She must have fallen asleep while working on it.
のの姉ちゃん、あんまり寝てないみたいなんだ。僕の世話だけじゃなくて、生徒会のお仕事とかいっぱいあるみたいで、ずっとパソコンに向かってるし。僕ならもう大丈夫って言ってるのに。
大丈夫かどうか診断するのは父さんだろ。
そうだけど。
お前はあんまり難しいこと考えるなよ。早く元気になれって。
Neither of us would bring up Yui. We'd probably have to wait until Yuta was a lot more grown up. I tapped him on the shoulder, then grabbed the blanket off the other bed and softly walked over to Kurisu. Even with the heater on, I figured she might catch cold if she slept in a place like this. But I fell silent when I saw what was on the computer screen. It was displaying several sites that dealt with the return of the new generation madness. And at the very front was the video from Don't Look at Me. It was paused at the moment where the victim realized he'd sliced up his own arm and passed out in a puddle of blood, tears, and drool. There was a newly bought notebook next to her, filled with words in her pretty handwriting. Some of it was names, locations, and times that overlapped with what we had on the map on the clubroom wall. But Kurisu had made several sharp insights of her own. For example, Incident 2. Why didn't the victim put on makeup for her last street performance? The mind controller is male? He didn't consider that a girl would need to put on makeup? Senri's ID card. No one but me knew that I buried it under the memorial in remembrance of her. The killer has to read my mind to dig it up. The killers can read minds? Which means there are two killers, one who can read mind and one who can control minds? Supports Takaru's multiple killers theory. There was page after page of it.
この短期間でよくこれだけ。でも何のために?
She must have sensed that I was staring at her, because she moved a little. Her almond eyes slowly opened, and she blinked several times. And then she raised her head and looked at me.
ああ、なんだ、タクルか。おかえりなさい。
ただいま。ほら、毛布。風邪ひくぞ。
やだ、私居眠りしちゃってたのね。ありが。
And then she seemed to realize her mistake. She quickly reached out her hand to turn off the computer monitor. I grabbed it.
ね、タクル、これは。
I refused to let go of her hand.
一体何なの、タクル。
それはこっちのセリフだ。さっきのあれが生徒会の仕事だっていうのか。
Kurisu flinched a little. This was the exact opposite of how things usually went between us. It was always me who did the flinching.
そうだけど。
そんなわけあるかよ。
痛いから、いい加減手離して。
But I kept holding on and glaring at her a little. At first, she squirmed a little, but eventually her naturally strong will won out, and she glared right back at me. I don't know how long we stayed like that, but surprisingly, it was Kurisu who gave up first. She silently put her other hand on top of mine.
ごめんなさい。だから話して。
I relaxed my grip a little and shook her hand away.
なんで一人であんなことしてんだよ。まさか自分一人だけで真犯人を探そうなんて思ってないよな。誰も巻き込まないようにとか。
それは。
僕が同じようなことをしたら怒るくせに自分はいいのかよ。自分はいいのかよ。もしも犯人に目をつけられてユイみたいにされたらどうするんだ。そんなの冗談じゃない。
タクル。
Kurisu fell silent for a second after I spat out the words. And then she started to talk, hesitantly, as if she were uncertain of how to say what she was thinking.
前にタクルが言ってたでしょ。事件が自分のことを追いかけてきてるみたいだって。
ああ。
私もそうなの。この事件に千里が関わってるって知った時から、私はいつも彼女に追われてる。
Senri? Senri Minamisawa? What did she mean she was following her? Didn't she say she died in the Shibuya earthquake? Then that was a lie, and Senri was after not only me, but Kurisu? She must have sensed my confusion because Kurisu shook her head.
千里は地震で死んだわ。それは間違いない。私を追いかけてくるのは、なんて言ったらいいのかな。彼女の亡霊なの。
My mouth hung open as I struggled to understand what she'd just said. I'd never imagined she'd use an unscientific word like ghost.
なんだよそれ。意味がわからない。
ごめんなさい。今はまだこれしか言えないの。話す勇気が出ないから。
Her face twisted in sorrow.
そうか。クルスにはまだたくさん僕に言えないことがあるんだな。
By the time I realized what I'd said, it was too late. The pain in my heart had come back, and the words had slipped out of my mouth. Even after I'd sworn I was never going to say those words to her again. Just like I expected, she looked even sadder.
クルス、違うんだ。今のは本心じゃない。
けど
前にも言っただろ。今の僕はもう昔とは違うって。それに僕はちゃんと今ここにいるじゃないか。まだ怒ってたり嫌ってたりしたら戻ってくるはずがない。
Kurisu sat down on the bed, exhausted. I suddenly realized that Yuto had left. It was dinner time after all, and he'd probably thought the two of us wanted to be alone. There was a long, long silence after that. Neither Kurisu nor I said a word. We just stared at different spots in the room. And eventually, Kurisu started to talk.
いつかタクルにだけは
私が言えないでいること、何もかも全部話したいと思ってる。そのせいでまた嫌われちゃうかもしれないけど、それでも構わない。その時はちゃんと最後まで聞いてくれる？
あ、
ありがとう。
And finally, she smiled. It was a weak smile, which looked as though it could fade at any second.
ねえ、タクル。覚えてる？地震の後、昏睡から目を覚ました日のこと。
あの時は頭がぼーっとしてて、あんまり。でも最初に見たのがクルスの泣き顔だったことだけははっきり覚えてるよ。
そう。
今考えると不思議だな。お前なんで泣いてたんだ？
嬉しかったからよ、目を覚ましてくれて。
どうして？あの時の僕とクルスはまだ赤の他人だったの？
タクルはそうだったかもしれないけど、私はタクルのことを1年以上ずっと面倒見てきたのよ。私にとっては大切な家族の一員になってたもの。
The fragile smile was still on her face.
だからお姉ちゃんはタクルのことなら何でも知ってるのよ。恥ずかしくて他の女の子には言えないようなことまで全部ね。
やめろよ。そういうこと言うのはなしって約束だろ。
そうだったわね。ごめん。もう言わない。
And then there was another silence. It was as if the two of us were trapped by memories of the past and had forgotten that time even existed. And then time started to move again.
あ、そっか。晩ご飯ほったらかしだった。悪い。
いえ、すぐに温め直しますから。
ごめんね、ウキちゃん。
Uki may or may not have been able to tell what was going on between us, but she left for the upstairs dorm without another word.
タクル、先に行ってて。
わかった。あ、クルス。
As she got up for the bed and headed for the dorm, I called out to her.
何？
Her soft chestnut hair flew upwards as she spun around.
僕はさ。
As I looked into her beautifully colored eyes, I was finally able to say it.
もう家族の誰も失いたくないんだ。
How long had it been since I'd called Kurisu part of my family? Her eyes went wide for a moment, and then suddenly she started to cry.
タクル。
だから本当に頼む。やめてくれ。一人で犯人探しなんて危険なこと。もしもお前まであんなことに言うみたいなことになったら。あれ、情けないな。泣くなよ。僕は情けない。
わかった。もうしない。だからお願い。タクルも約束して。私を残して行ってしまわないって。私を置いて
消えてしまわないって。私、耐えられない。こんなに悲しいの。耐えきれない。
She probably didn't even know what she was doing, but she ran up to me and buried her face in my chest. She wrapped her arms around me, as if she refused to let me go. And cried for a long, long time, calling out Yui's name in a tiny voice. Until now, I'd always been bothered by the idea of a family. I thought it was just a heavy, annoying chain that kept me stuck in one place. Dad, Yui, Yuto, Kurisu, and even Uki now. They were all part of my family. It was only then that it really hit me that Yui was gone forever. And I held Kurisu's frail body tight and cried like a baby for a long, long time. I will be right back. Just a sec. Okay. November 3rd. The school was empty, since it had closed for Culture Day. Of course, no one from the newspaper club was there. The room was empty and quiet. I'd been there alone since lunchtime. I wasn't sure how many hours I'd been staring at the map, looking for a clue that pointed toward the real killer. I had until tonight. Once it was past midnight, November 4th would be here. And then the final return of the New Generation Madness murder could occur at any time. The killer was probably getting ready right now. Who was their last target? Who else would it be but Takaru? Hey, what's up, Zane? How you doing? Was it me, Arimura, Uki, or someone I didn't know at all? Arimura had already said she would spend the night at Alba Dorm. I'd asked her to stay with Uki and the others at all times. With her power, we should be able to avoid a repeat of what happened to Yui. And I would find the real killer and make sure they came after me. And then I'd take revenge for Yui. Yesterday I'd spoken with Arimura and the others, and gone over the things that didn't make sense. When we talked, there were a few things we'd left to come back to later.
まず3番目の事件、回転デッド。
So did you see Kiara's new outfit? Why did the policeman ignore us when he saw us inside the Love Hotel wearing Hekio uniforms? The answer was probably what I'd initially thought, that the officer was being mind-controlled. The only reason I could think of was that the killer wanted me to be at the scene. But I couldn't figure out why.
なら逆に考えてみたらどうだ?
Nah, okay. Yeah, it actually was exactly what I said it would be. It was one of her outfits from the Fever Night music video. It's like this very 80s looking outfit with the it's like a leotard over like these well, I guess it's kind of like it's like a leotard over like workout pants, and then like some leggings, and then like a loose kind of off-shoulder shirt. Why would that cause a problem for them? You have to look it up later. I might not have noticed the connection between the stickers and the case. I might not have noticed my power was telekinesis. I might not have seen a person die in front of me for real. Okay, I might not have noticed my power was telekinesis. Not totally sure this is right, but we'll see. It's true that's where I met Arimura and Kunosato, which is how I learned I was a gigalomaniac. But it wasn't through this case that I learned I could use telekinesis. I should rethink this. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna say this one then. That's right. I'd taken that video without even thinking about it, and after analyzing it 100 times, I'd found the sumo sticker. And then I'd found the other stickers at the other murder sites. Then I made a video connecting the murders to the sumo stickers, and uploaded it to the internet. And because of that video, our minor little newspaper club site had gotten an incredible number of hits.
いや待て。じゃあ犯人は新聞部のために僕をあの現場へ誘導したっていうのか。そんなバカなことあるわけないだろ。
I frowned and crumpled up the paper where I'd written newspaper club site hits and threw it in the trash. And then I glared at the map again. I looked at the next note that we'd marked to come back to.
4番目の事件、ゴッツアンデスの渡部についてか。
The real reason that our site had gotten so many hits was that Watabe, the famous internet journalist, had gotten involved. That's why he decided to hold an interview with us, but just like I'd said yesterday, I couldn't figure out why. The interview would have done nothing but fuel the flame war. So I'd guess that Watabe had already been under the control of the killer.
待てよ。ということは、渡部とは逆に犯人にとっては僕らのディスカッションにメリットがあったということにならないか。
Who stood to gain by having Watabe come to Hekiho? Well, the newspaper club, obviously.
そうだ。最大のメリットがあるのは僕ら新聞部じゃないか。
No. Oh God. I know who it is. I figured it out, dude. It's Kazuki. Kazuki is the one who's been controlling all their minds and shit, dude. I'm just fucking with you. Nah, but it made me think, like, okay, if if the newspaper club gained something from that, then that would mean, like, somebody in the newspaper club had wanted this to happen, but I'm just fucking around. I glanced at the paper I'd just thrown in the trash that read newspaper club site hits. We were already kind of famous because of the video we'd uploaded about the sumo stickers. The arrival of Watabe, the famous reporter, only increased that. And then, just as the discussion was about to start, Watabe had become a victim of the return of the new generation madness. Talk about sensational.
まるで僕らの新聞部を有名にしようとしてるみたいだ。どうして犯人はそんなこと？
And after that, the newspaper club got deeper and deeper into the case. And then the case became more than just something that we reported on. We went through things that no high school newspaper club would ever experience, and felt excitement, terror, and surprise.
くそ、新聞部は完全にもてあそばれてる。
Bro. What if it's that Kawahara dude? You know, the guy who, like, keeps acting like a fucking asshole? part of that was the attack on me and Arimura by the pyrokinetic. Even then, the killer had shown signs of toying with us.
あの時、僕らを襲ったパイロキネシストの正体は南沢千里じゃなくハイダリコという他人だった。
But the killer had Senri Minamisawa's ID card. That was what had fooled us and had also almost sent the case off in the wrong direction.
でも、あの ID カードの謎だけは、昨べようやく解けた。
Wait, he solved the mystery? Because I'd seen this about Senri Minamisawa's ID card in Kurisu's notes. She put ID. Oh, yeah, that's right. She did say she put the ID card. Yeah, but that still doesn't explain why Rico had it. Killer read her mind and dug it up. Okay, nah. Yeah, so it's this one. That's right. This is what it said in Kurisu's notes. Senri's ID card. No one but me knew that I buried it under the memorial in remembrance of her. The killer had to read my mind to dig it up? The killer can read minds? It was safe to assume that she was right, and the killer had read her mind and taken the ID card from the memorial. But what was the reason?
真犯人はどうして南沢千里が僕を襲ってきてるように見せたかったんだ。一体何を狙って。
Try to expose human experiments? Try to terrify me by bringing up my past trauma? Try to drive Ito, who loves Senri, into committing crimes. If it's this one, then that sounds an awful lot like Chaos Head. That means basically the whole plot is driven by exactly the same thing that Chaos Head's plot was driven by. Okay, let's see if this is it. That's right. It felt like the killer was using Senri Minamisawa to take advantage of my trauma. In fact, I'd felt terrified many times because of that.
いや、ちょっと待ってくれ。ってことは。
Yeah, so are you really about to tell me that this is gonna be the same exact plot as Chaos Head, where they spent this whole time trying to scare the main character so that he would awaken his gigalomaniac powers? Like, bro, please don't make it the exact same plot, dude. I spoke aloud without even realizing it.
真犯人の狙いは新聞部じゃなくこの僕だっていうのか。そんなバカな。
There was no way they could have committed all these murders just to mess with me. It made no sense, and it was far too elaborate. And for all the effort they'd put into it, there was something that didn't make sense about the incident with Ito and Yui. That was... revenge for a girl you once loved, too pathetic to be a motive? From the order, Uki, not Yui, should have been the next target? It makes no sense to turn Ito into killer if motive is vengeance. He didn't know her. Yeah, this seems to make the most sense, this last one.
So なんだ。あの事件、伊藤を犯人に仕立て上げる意味が全くない。いや、それどころか、伊藤を犯人にするのは明らかに間違ってる。
Wait, so what is he saying? That Ito actually killed Yui of his own free will? Is that what he's saying here? If the point was making it look like this was Senri Minamisawa's revenge, there were other people who would make more sense. For example, though it was scary even to think about, Senri Minamisawa's best friends, Kurisu and Kawahara. If one of them had committed the murder, the police never would have become suspicious at all. It's possible that we might not have even figured out that mind control was involved. This whole thing could have ended with the assumption that it was a plot to get revenge for an old friend.
なのに、犯人はどうして無関係な伊藤を選んだ？
And why did they make him tell lies that would be easily found out? What was the point?
なんだか、伊藤はあくまでも操り人形で、最初から真犯人が別にいると告白してるみたいじゃん。
And then, I suddenly stood up from my chair.
それが狙いなのか?
The killer deliberately chose Ito, who had no motive at all, to commit the crime? Of course, we'd realized that immediately, and started looking even harder for the real killer. But none of the cops, except for Shinjo, would believe in psychic powers. Add in the media's speculation, and the public's confusion and interest would only grow. That was exactly what had happened. More and more pundits and commentators were arguing over whether Ito, whom they always called Boy A, was really the killer. And of course, multiple threads showed up on 8chan simultaneously, declaring both his innocence and his guilt. There were even threads speculating about who the true killer might be, and they showed no signs of stopping. And tomorrow was the 4th. From midnight tonight to midnight tomorrow, the whole city would be waiting with bated breath to see the killer's next move.
これが全て犯人の思い通りだとしたら。
It was like they were challenging me to a game. They'd lured me in with the return of the new generation madness, which they knew I'd take an interest in. They used Senri Minamisawa to drive me into a corner from which I couldn't escape. They were moving everyone around for their own ends, both wrong-siders and self-proclaimed right-siders, like chess pieces on a board. And they wanted me, the other player, to try and stop the last murder on November 4th. I put my hand on my forehead and stared at the map, unable to believe it.
たったそれだけのために
They killed all those people for that? That's why they did that to Yui?
違う妄想だこんなの全部僕の妄想に決まってる
I could hear that I was whispering to myself.
そうさこの犯行の裏には もっとすごい陰謀があるに違いないんだ。社会全体を揺るがすような壮大で緻密な陰謀が。
Sounds like that's more of a delusion than what he was thinking before. But okay. And we'd been caught up in that huge plan, and that's why this was happening to us. That had to be it. Suddenly, I heard the sound of a ringing phone. I quickly looked around for the source. It was my smartphone, which I'd kept inside my bag. I quickly pulled it out and looked at the screen. Shinjo had been visiting Ito in the hospital every day, since he was the one in charge of Yui's case. If he was calling, that meant... I forced myself to stay calm as I hit the answer button.
宮代くんか？
はい。伊藤、目を覚ましたんですか？
ああ、2時間ほど前だ。
2時間って、なんでもっと早く知らせてくれないんです？
無茶を言わないでくれ。他の捜査員が病室を出ていくタイミングを待ってたんだ。こうして君に電話してること自体、処分物なんだからな。
で、伊藤は無事なんですね。
ああ、意識レベルは改善されてきた。話もできる。ただ、どうだ、久野里さん。
I mean, why would you even want to talk to Ito at this point? Like, he's been mind controlled into fucking oblivion. Like, he's completely mentally broken at this point. Like, you're just not gonna get anything out of him, really. I could hear Kunosato's voice on the other end of the phone.
大脳新皮質だけでなく、海馬や言語中枢にもダメージを負っている。無理をさせたら、その後のことは知らないぞ。
Yeah. Oh. Well, hello, Cameron. How are you doing? Thanks for becoming a subscriber. It's practically pointless, yeah, right?
という状態だ。それでも伊藤君がどうしても君と話したいと言ってる。
I'm doing pretty good.
はい。
いいか、変わるぞ。
A little bit on edge because this visual novel is like really cranking up the dial right now. It's like becoming like super intense and scary and stuff.
はい。
I gulped down the saliva in my mouth. Suddenly, I felt a terrible uncertainty in my heart. You look a little lonely. Yeah, bro. Blame Zane for that. Zane always gotta show up at least an hour after I've started streaming. What was I supposed to say to Ito? Even if he'd been mind controlled, he was still the one who chopped up my little sister. Good vibes upside down? Hold on. Okay. Kind of. I'm just messing with you, Zane. You know how it is. But I didn't hear any sound coming from the phone.
伊藤
Sometimes I wake up grumpy, other times I let her sleep. Are you wait, are you talking about Grumpy the dwarf? I heard the sound of a deep breath on the other side of the phone.
伊藤大丈夫か
In the end, that was all I could say.
Ah, 僕だ
Who? Have you ever seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Isn't Grumpy one of the dwarfs? Oh god. Here's my... Okay. I have... Like, I try to remember the names of all 7 dwarves. So it's like... Doc, Sleepy, Grumpy... Happy... Dopey? I don't know, I can't remember. I can't remember all of them. Yeah, I mean, if I don't think of it for like a few months, I forget.
Nani?
俺はゆいちゃんのこと殺す。
いい、それ以上言わなくていい。
I tried to cut him off, but he ignored me and started crying.
でもゆいちゃんはお前の大事な妹じゃないか。なのに俺がこの手でダメだ。俺が死んだくらいじゃこの罪は償えない。償えないだろ宮次郎。
なんだよそれ、死ぬとか言うな。
しっかりしろ伊藤君。
Shinjo's yells overlapped with my words.
いいか、僕はお前がユイにあんなことをしたとは思ってない。本当の犯人は別にいる。
本当の犯人。
ああ、お前は無実なんだよ。何でもいい、思い出してくれ。お前誰かに何かされたんだよな。なあ。
Yep, just what I was saying.
誰かに何か。
そうだ、お前に思考誘導をかけたやつは誰なんだ。
Suddenly, I heard him scream in pain on the other end of the phone.
伊藤！
どうしたおい。
ストップだ。やめさせろ。脳波がおかしい。
何？
思考誘導が残ってる。情報を引き出せないようにしてあるぞ。これは。
Yeah.
このままだと海馬をやられる。
Well, if he's being mind controlled like right this second, like can't they like look around, you know, maybe investigate? Because that, I mean, that means somebody has to like physically be there with one of those backpacks or whatever, right? So like, bro, just look for the fucking dude.
聞こえたか、宮代君。終わりだ。切るぞ。待ってくれ。電話切らないでくれ。
Uwu. Uwu, I can't tell. Wait. Oh, okay. The person with no name says Uwu. What's up, person with no name? Ito's screams cut him off.
思い出せそうなんだ。もう少しで何か。伊藤君。
伊藤、もういい、やめろ。
But Ito didn't stop. Oh god. I think he's about to die, dude. I think he's about to fucking die. He was trying his best, enduring terrible pain, to tell me something.
宮代、あれは確か物質だ。
It was in the club room? Bro. Are you telling me it was Kazuki? No. No, it can't be fucking Kazuki. Come on, bro. No, I can't be fucking Kazuki.
物質？
いつだったかわからない。俺の他にもう一人誰かがいて。
I mean, Kazuki is the one who's always hanging out in that room. I mean...
ダメだ。もうよせ。うるさい。まだ宮代と話してんだ。切るな。
伊藤。
ゆいちゃんの仇が取れるなら、こんな頭どうなったっていい。
Even from here, I could sense his incredible determination.
聞いてるか、宮代。
ああ、聞いてる。
そいつとしばらく話してて、そしたら、そうだ、いきなりスマホでお前の写真を見せてきたんだ。
They showed... The one with pink hair. Wait. Who has pink hair?
Ah. あれはどんな写真だったか。でも驚いたのは覚えてる。なんで驚いたのか。そうだ、宮代が楽しそうにしてたんだ。青葉寮の人たちとあんな宮代初めて見たから。
Well, shit, that makes it sound like this is the person that took Takaru's phone. But the timing doesn't line up, though. If he's saying this is the first time he got mind controlled, that would have had to have happened after Takaru had already, like, lost his phone and all that shit. But I thought we had established that Ito was getting mind controlled, like, long before that. A picture from Alba Dorm? What was he talking about? There were no photos like that.
それでそうだそいつは笑いながら指さしたんだよ
He laughed and pointed at someone.
この子を殺せって
Yui. It was Yui. The killer had a picture of me and Yui together.
それで俺怖くなって逃げようとしたらいきなりドアからもう一人入ってきてその二人がやめろやめてくれ何すんだよやめろ
伊藤伊藤
おい伊藤君
His mind had finally reached its limits. There was one last scream of terror, and then nothing. He didn't answer, no matter how many times I yelled his name. All I heard was meaningless mumbling. He didn't seem to know where he was, or what he was doing anymore.
宮代君残念だがもう電話は
久野里さんに代わってください
え
いいから早く
Okay. Well, he's saying there were two people. So what pair of people can we think of here that might be behind this? There's Uki and that old woman that she used to hang out with. That's a possibility. I mean, if Senri's involved, then who would be Senri's partner? I don't know, I guess it could just be some random person. A moment later, Kunosato answered the phone in a cold voice.
何か用か
お願いです伊藤を助けてください
こいつに無理をさせたのはお前だろう今さら何を言っている
この事件が解決したら僕のこと実験台にしたっていいですだからお願いします
Wait, what? I heard a mocking laughter in her voice.
今の言葉確かに聞いたぞ
やりたければ勝手にしてくださいだから伊藤
わかったできるだけのことはしてみようただし過度の期待はするなよ
Then she hung up the phone. No matter how many times I called back, she didn't answer. Maybe one of the other police officers besides Shinjo had come into the room. At the very end, he'd endured terrible pain to give me that information. Thinking back, it was incredibly important. It was a winter evening, and still there was cold sweat forming on my forehead. I tried to drive my tired, exhausted mind to fit in this last piece of the puzzle. Like the real killer was one of us. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. But that was the hint Ito had given me. And if that hint was also... The fact that Ito had woken up right before November 4th, the fact that he'd given me that information, it all seemed like part of the killer's next move. Even if it's just what you want, I'll find you. Ito's first hint. The killer was talking with Ito in private in the newspaper club room, which meant that it was someone close enough to Ito to have a chat like that. By process of elimination, who could I rule out? Which of these people didn't I suspect? Oh shit. Well, obviously you're not suspecting, he's not suspecting himself, so... Takeru Miyashiro, that's me. I know I'm not the killer, so I can rule myself out. But I'd experienced how terrifying mind control could be at Cafe LAX. After that, it seemed possible that I could have been involved in the crimes and not realized it. That's right, trust no one. It wasn't safe to just rule anyone out, even myself. Okay, well then what's the point in even going through this exercise then? Okay, I guess Kurisu? No, I can't just rule out anyone, even Kurisu. Think carefully. There must be someone else I can rule out. Okay, wait. Well, I guess Uki, right? Because Uki... I don't think Uki knows about, like, where the club room is, so I think Uki. Yeah, I could definitely rule out Uki. There was that call from my missing phone that Ito had received. At first, I thought that was her doing, but now I'd known that Ito had done it all himself. If she and Ito were working together, There was no need for him to install that app. He could have just had Uki make the call. Can you save it first? Why? I mean, I can, but... So I could rule her out. Although it is being quick saved, so... I mean, I don't have to save it, because it's being quick saved. I mean, I think Shinjo and Kunosato both knew the location of the club room at this point, right? So... And then, when did Arimura find out about it? Okay, let's try Arimura. True, Arimura wasn't part of the newspaper club, but she was known to come in here from time to time. She'd probably talked to Ito while they were alone once or twice. It was too early to rule her out. In case there was a root choice. You know what? Actually, now that you mention it... Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and save it, I guess. Alright. I mean, I don't know. This guy over here, he's the teacher who basically, like, acts as, like, the club's advisor. So obviously he knows where the club room is. I mean, I think Karasawa knows. Guess Shinjo. It was probably safe to take Shinjo off the list of suspects. Ito and Shinjo had only met after I'd gotten the call. Yeah, it was safe to rule him out. Okay, then Kunosato. I'd only met Kunosato. That's right. It was after Ito had faked the call. At that point, we'd never met, which meant it didn't match with Ito's evidence. I could eliminate her. Well, shit, I mean, who else can you eliminate? Like, all the rest of these people know where the club room is. Alright, alright, I don't know. Yeah, I could take Kawahara off the list. He was friends with Kurisu, but not that close to Ito. And because of Kurisu, he didn't like the newspaper club. It was hard to imagine the two of them talking in private here. Okay, so he's basing this off of who knows Ito then. I mean, everyone else here knows Ito, so I'm guessing this teacher is the only one left. Wakui was the newspaper club's advisor. He would come by the newspaper club sometimes, and he'd probably spoken with Ito. In other words, I couldn't rule him out. Oh, you were hoping that Kawahara would be a suspect. Okay, I feel like this thing just wants you to click like every single picture on here. So, okay. I could rule out Kazuki. Why? Like, she's known Ito. Even when she was in the club room, she was always playing ESO2. She never spoke to anyone. Even if she was alone with Ito, she never would have talked to him. Okay, I guess that makes sense. She never talks, so okay. This is 4 words. Hanakazuki Uki Yamazoe, Mio Kunasato, Takeshi Shinjo, Masashi Kawahara. I could rule out these 5, which left.
そして伊藤の言葉からさらに絞り込むなら、
そいつとしばらく話してて、そしたらそうだ、いきなりスマホで
Showed me
お前の写真を見せてきたんだ。
of you on a phone. The killer had a picture of me. And a picture of me at Alba Dorm with Yui. If I was smiling, that meant it was a pretty old one. Redhead girl looks like Lucy. You mean Sarika? If nothing else, it had to be from before I left to go live by myself in the park. The only ones who could show Ito that picture. There are only 3 people who could have done it. Takaru himself. All my old photos of myself and the people at Alba Dorm had been lost along with my cell phone at AH Tokyo General Hospital. And that phone hadn't been found yet. In other words, since I didn't have any photos like that, I wasn't the killer. For a moment I was relieved, but then I realized my mistake. When had someone begun controlling Ito's mind? I didn't know. Maybe it was from before I dropped my phone. So it was possible that I could have showed Ito the old photo. In other words, I couldn't rule myself out. So you think Sarika looks like Lucy? I mean, maybe if she had long hair, maybe. Alright, well then Kurisu. Kurisu would have pictures of everyone from Alba Dorm, obviously. And probably old photos of me too. Which meant she fit the criteria of the real killer. Holy fuck, dude. Dude, seriously? The 2 of the final 3 suspects are fucking Takaru and Kurisu? Bruh. Come the fuck on, man. Well, who else would have old photos of... I guess Sarika? Sarika was my childhood friend. She'd known me for longer than anyone. Of course, she probably had plenty of old photos of me. And when I'd lived at Alba Dorm, she'd come over almost every day. She'd gotten along with everyone. Of course, she'd have a photo of Yui, too. In other words, she fit the criteria to be the real killer. No fucking way, dude. Dude, the killer being any one of these three is absolutely, like, fucking ridiculous, bro. Like, no way. This can't be real. I pursed my lips as I stared at the photos on the map.
この中真犯人がいる。クルス、尾上、あるいは僕。ニュージェネの狂気の再来事件で能力者たちを無残に殺し、ユイをあんな姿に変えた犯人が。
I'd come up with a lot of different theories, but looking back at them, they all seemed so impossible. Bruh. Okay, man. Well, I think I better stop here for tonight. Come on, man. Dude, this is just getting weirder and fucking weirder, dude. Ugh. Alright, well, I'll be back tomorrow, and we will continue on with the Clorinde story quest. I would say Navia's story quest, but you know what? Today's events definitely make it seem more like it is focused on Clorinde rather than Navia, so you know what? I'll just go with what the game is telling us. Yep, and then we will, after that, we will continue with more Chaos Child. So, anyway. Alright, man, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I am thinking about my next game that I get for the Switch being Metroid Dread. Because I heard that was a good game. But I don't know, I heard some people say it was really hard too. But I'm not gonna let that stop me.